Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Today's animal character is Diao, vulture. So yeah, I have to check out what's the difference between Ying and Diao because for me, Chinese user, Ying and Diao both are big predatory birds. Like, what's the difference? And it turned out that Ying is more like an eagle. It's simply predatory birds with the image of the big long feathered birds and the small little birds in there versus vulture. And now, okay, this vulture, according to ChatGPT, okay, I didn't check, are bigger birds, long wingspan, bigger birds, can be in that predatory birds category as well. But they emphasize the difference between eagle and vulture is vulture simply is bigger. I don't know about that. I didn't do the reality check. It could be ChatGPT hallucinating. If you know, let me know. But Diao, on the contrary to Yung, it's more positive actually in Chinese culture. Even if they're both big predatory birds in my mind. Okay, I couldn't tell the difference. But surprisingly, okay, I broke my own theory of, okay, this means little birds because it doesn't have long drapey feathers as shown in the character of meow, bird, a generic form, or yung. So it's supposed to be big bird, vulture, but here it shows, it used this short-haired little bird's image. Okay, so that's something I'm not exactly sure. The only explanation I can come up with right now is vultures, even if they have big feathers at some part of the body, but their head is bowed. They don't have feathers on top of their head, right? So it's kind of a tiny, short, fluffy hair across their head region and their neck, right? So to that part, they are more like accurately predicted with a small fluffy bird feather here in this bird image. That's one possibility. Okay, the left side is Chinese character zhou. That means surroundings or surrounding. So when we talk about environment, we say 周边 means all your on all the peripherals of your size, all the parameters basically. And actually in talking about circles, we have yuanzhou, we're talking about the circumference. So all that is using this character. And this character came from the wood block kind of a barrel. So imagine, I guess, ancient times, not so ancient ago, actually, before the invention of plastics, plastic made buckets. Nowadays, you go to Home Depot, they're all plastic, right? But in ancient times, the buckets were made of wood panels, one piece together, all that panels. And we have this saying of the shortest panel determines the height of the water from this bucket. So this is the image of this wood panel bucket. You can see the paneling here. And I guess, I'm not sure if this is realistic or aesthetic modification of such a bucket. It has this hyperbola shape, slightly curved in. It's not a straight line like that. So it's a little bit different from the bucket image in my mind. And then the top here, you see the extra layer, horizontal layer, that's the handle of the bucket. So how are you going to hold? Ancient times, there is this wood block going to the middle part of it so that you can hold on the top. And then we have a mouse symbol underneath. The mouse symbol plus the wood panel bucket symbol actually talks about when a person addressing an issue, because mouse symbolizes speaking. When somebody is talking, that person is thorough. It's going to look at from all perspectives. So basically going through all the peripherals or all the panels around this issue. And that in Chinese, it's a good concept. That means that person is well thought. That person is least likely to be biased because it talks about all the panels. It's not extreme. It's kind of center, talking from the center point of that wood paneled bucket, talking about each panel. That's 周. And when you have this 周, this thoroughness, this paneling, this all aroundness, plus this bird image, and that becomes vulture. Just from the pairing of the character, this is a positive meaning word in Chinese. And it almost like this bird, I guess, vulture probably, in Chinese culture, it's viewed not as the scavenger, actually. It is viewed as a bird who has all paneling, meaning that bird can be a predator, can go out hunt. That bird can also be a scavenger and eat the leftovers. So that bird is all around, is wholesome, is have a stronger capacity to survive because it can do multiple things. So I guess that may be the connection. All right, so in Chinese, the positivity of this character is expressed by one of the most beloved novels. That's kind of fantasy world by Jin Yong. Okay, me personally, I didn't read this novel, but I know many of my classmates growing up admire all the heroes in there. So 射雕英雄传 is that novel, and it has a wide readership. It's a fantasy world. It talks about ancient history, setting in ancient times. So it's not, politically provoking to the current regime. And then it talks about the heroic, I guess, the heroic arc, this person's journey to become a hero. And 射雕 is shooting such vulture. And the 英雄传, 英雄 is our hero. 传 is the storytelling about this hero. And this hero's main feature is able to shut down vultures. And I guess 雕, big birds, who is so all around capable, right? If that person that's a hero can shoot down such a big bird, that's kind of testifying to the heroic ability. So another Chinese expression is from a poem probably 1,000 years ago, and have the exact same phrase in there, 射雕, 回看射雕处. So you turn around, look at where you shot down that big vulture. 千里暮云平, the sunset cloud through 1,000 miles looks just flat out there. I mean, picture that. Nowadays, at least me, I live in the city. I'm city dwellers. It's hard for me to see very far. You see out to, buildings, the city scenery, the skyline of the city. How can we see 1,000 miles out? It's only when you go really, really out there and you're able to have an encounter with wildlife, like shooting down a vulture, that kind of heroic behavior. And then that's when you get rewarded by such a sunset picture. And it's flat because it's a vast space without any blockage of buildings. It's wide world out there, and it's flat. I guess in certain part of China, it's kind of flat, but I guess 1/3 or 2/3 of China covered by mountains. So this also creates this heroic image, I guess, that resonates like 1,000 years gap in there. But this character is embedded in there, associated with such heroic behavior and storytelling. So that's, even if it's both Ying and Diao are big predatory birds, but because of 英 eagle is associated with American culture, American aggressiveness in the storytelling of the current regime. So that word was not positive in Chinese, but the diao historically and also in this embedded in our literature, it's positive meaning. It's associated with this romanticized fantasy of how heroes in have the capacity to interact with the wildlife, and this wildlife represented by this all capable vultures. So that's our Chinese diao. Thank you for your time. See you another day.